Well, good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing this evening? Thank you so much for queuing up and being here tonight. I really appreciate it. This is going to be a fun little study that we're going to go through. I have some really good information for you. Sarah, I would love to know more about what's going on with your friend Maria. That's great that she's 80% better and that she's conscious again. She had the pneumonia that we've seen this thing of people with pneumonia that have been fighting for their life, and she obviously has been. And boy, I'm so glad they brought her back. That's fantastic. That is great. Amelia, it is always great seeing you. Gosh, we've got everybody's. Jen, good to see you. Kathy made it. Of course you did. We all made it. Hey there. Hey there. Hey there. Hello. Hi, Pam. Good to see you. Ah, what do you got going there? Looks like a life raft or a life thing behind you there. Cool, new picture. Hey, Melissa. Lanaya, hello. Waving hello to you too. Oh, wonder who that is. There's Jennifer. Hey, Beth. Great question this week on the podcast. Appreciated that. That was awesome. Hello, hello. Hey, Carrie. Oh, wait a minute. Where's Carrie? I saw Carrie. There we go. Ah, glad you stopped by. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Good morning. Good way to start the week. Sophie, I'd love to catch up with you. Oh, I don't remember anyway. I don't remember. Last week was a blur, but I'd like to catch up with you about stuff. Hey, Brenda. Boy, this is great. What a great, awesome crowd. It was Cheryl. Oh, hey, Cheryl. Glad you're here. Yay. Awesome. There's Melissa. Done a couple of readings for Melissa. That was fun this week. We have a first timer. First time person. If you see like what Melissa did here and like what Cheryl does here, if you click on, there's a link where if you're in the Facebook group, which all these people are, and you click on that link that's in the text of the post where we are, then you can tell StreamYard that it's okay to put your name up there like that. Otherwise, it comes up like that. And hey, Cheryl, so you can choose to do that. You don't have to, and you have to do it every time. And then if you do that now, you have to just refresh the page. That's all. And then your name will come up. We can see you. Hugs to everybody. Shelly, welcome. Thanks, Cheryl. Or thanks, Sarah. Cheryl, Sarah. Oh, this is awesome. This is great. Glad y'all are here. Okay. Y'all ready for a little mind blower here? Who was here last week? Raise your hand. Okay. I was off last week. As you know, I was just off. Oh, here, this crazy thing. I'm going to turn this off. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Hey, Lynn. Awesome. Glad you're here because I'm going to use some of that we did. I hope that my changing this changes the quality of the picture. I had this set up and then I had to turn on Wi-Fi to move a picture from one computer to another computer, and I forgot to turn it back off. So if it's blurry, I apologize. Oh, I wish that they wouldn't do that, but anyway, all right, we're going to do our best. There's raise your hand. Oh, perfect. Nice one. Okay, if you were here last week, this is going to blow your mind. You remember I told the story. First time I ever picked up a deck of cards was in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. and I followed the ladies. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it's blurry. If I hit refresh on this screen, it might cut us all off, and I don't want to do that. So just mm, 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 mm. Anyway, we're gonna roll with it. So, the first time I ever picked up a deck of cards, Eureka Springs, Arkansas, Healing Waters. It's still there, I think. And she was so patient with me, walked me through what to do. She said, "Here, just hold these decks and see which one feels right for you." And then she walked away and just left me on my own. And I picked one that was, uh-oh. Oh my. Okay. So you're hearing it, but not seeing it. Okay. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Same. Okay. I'm going to refresh. You guys obviously are hearing me, I think. I'm going to refresh. If this cuts us off, oh, I'm good now. See and hear fine. Okay. All right. Clear for me. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Okay. So I felt this deck. It was the Doreen Virtue Angel Oracle deck. And I'm telling you, it was the one that jumped off the shelf. So I got it. And I took it back to my place, and I got the book out, and I followed all the instructions, and I initiated the deck, and I gave my energy to all the cards. Like she said, this is the first deck I'd ever touched. And I drew the same card 4 times in a row. Boom. It was the solar plexus card, and it was saying it's time for you to step into your power. And I had none back then. I mean, 0. I was hiding from myself and the world. Those of you who were here last week, whoops, let me clear this. Boom. The 4 of Wands, the same card we drew last week. So we have a 2 in a row card. And the way I did this before we started, I shuffled the deck the 3 times the way that I always do. And I spread all the cards out, and I started on one end and I went down the other. And then I came back, and I was like just feeling the energy. And then I came down to this end to my left, and I said, okay, which one is it? And I moved my hand down just ever so slightly, and I felt stop. And my hand went down on the deck, and it was the 4 of Wands. I'm not kidding you. I'm not picking up where I just left it from last week. I promise. So the 4 of Wands, celebration, prosperity, an important event or milestone, gathering of souls, kindreds, stability in home and relationship, sometimes signifies marriage. The shadow side of this card is forgetting the importance of simple things, getting caught up in drama, lack of harmony, feeling disconnected. Now the text, bring the noise. It's time to kick back in joyful elation. You've been building foundations, and after a period of massive shifting, it's time to enjoy some well-deserved communal bliss. If you've been through a cycle of rapid expansion and awakening, this card makes a transition into a more harmonic and stable state. You have reached new levels of consciousness, and it's the perfect time to enjoy a milestone event and celebrate with the people who love you. Love them right back as they are. And past, sometimes this card signifies a marriage or another significant occasion. While connecting with friends and family, make sure you relax, release, and allow your body to integrate all the lessons you have been working through. Happiness and harmony are yours to be had. Enjoy these warm vibes of celebration and success. Also, when was the last time you danced? I am devoted to my connectedness, and I celebrate the wonder of loving bliss with my community. Guys, we've had it twice. We've had it twice. There's a message in this card for us. Special message. So, Melissa says Fridays we have dance parties. Well, you'll probably get the record. Anybody go dancing last night? Let's see what Pam said here. Super excited to be from the family. Oh, nice. Nice. All right, now. This is wild. I'm having a moment. Sarah, if you're still here, you remember how we talked about time gaps? Now, I'm just making sure I'm not crazy here. This is November 5th. I just heard the Emergency Planning Committee will be closing schools in my area for the day of solar eclipse in case of any unusual events. Oh. In April. That's the total solar. Okay, then Pam says that she's going to be with her family in Maine. All right, I got it now. See, okay. Oh, does it? Well. Yeah, that's what I was going like, okay, wait just a doggone minute here. Okay, we're all right. We're going to be okay. I have admittedly, you guys who were here last week also, who witnessed the first drawing of this card, and it is on the recording, that I was off last week. That trip threw me off. It really did. And this week I'm pushing hard because I'm narrating the Ray Merriman 2024 forecast. It's astrology, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting for anybody that's interested in what's going on in the world, because as above, so below, and he connects all the shifting that's going to be going on in the outer planets over the next about 3 to 4 years. And it is quite a study, quite a report. And we're going to not go into that tonight, but using that kind of as a background or a backdrop, I had some things that I thought we might reflect on. And let's see here. Hold on, just give me a second here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and Lynn Schaeffer actually shared this with me the other day, and I thought, ooh, this is so good. And it really is pointed for exactly how we should be approaching this. And really, I'll tell you what it kind of makes me think is that our card is showing us the future. So that's when you guys were hitting me with this eclipse stuff. I'm like, now wait just a doggone minute here. This is Sunday, and I look down. It's November 5th. It says right there, November 5th. Okay. The eclipse. When is this eclipse that they're shutting schools down for? Okay, but I got it. However, I think this could be showing us the future as well, the future energy. Okay. Well, here we go. So yeah, the shift of daylight savings time as well. Okay. So I went out for a walk today. I had to get outside for a little bit, obviously, after the time change. And I stayed in bed until doggone almost noon today. I was just wiped. I was just wiped. And so I got in the booth late, but I did get out and go for a walk. And this just hit me while I was on the walk. My intention is to move fast enough to seize these opportunities that are synchronistically presented to us, but to move slow. I was like, wow, that's exactly where I want to be. Now, just a little check in here, real quick. So these all popped up on my phone today. And then I thought, well, I'll just pull the Schumann resonance too. So the latest one that I saw was some stuff coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then those of you up north, you might look for some auroras midweek, because we did have this one on the bottom is a KP7. So that's really strong. KP6 followed behind that. It's not the X class, but I guess they're saying that it's enough. If you're up north, you might see some auroras. And then, like, if today is lighter than yesterday, well, there's the Schumann resonance, and that's a little bit more activity there yesterday. So maybe you're feeling that as well. I know some of you are quite sensitive to that. So that might give you a little clue as to maybe a couple of the things that have been going on there. And I am so glad to see all of you guys here, and especially this one right here, because is it the third weekend next week? No, it's the second. 1, 2, 3. Kristen, are you all doing it next weekend? 4 or 5? I guess you are, because it's the third Sunday, the 12th. But yeah, Kristen. And here's the deal. Let's celebrate with Kristen, because 5 years married this weekend, and they just were celebrating together. So let's wish Kristen and Brian congratulations on their 5th anniversary. That's awesome. Yeah, and if you could drop in, I think you're doing it next week. You're leading us, so that would be great. Let's talk about a little bit of this, and then we're going to go into our meditation for tonight. So, this was something that Lynn sent me, and it was a message that she received by email this past week. And she said, this is kind of how I've been feeling, but this is what others are saying. And it was one of those messages from Spirit, but boy, I thought there were just some really great nuggets in here, and 3 big main takeaways. So what it's setting up is that it says they will begin to find these. This is talking about the current leaders that are controlling the world, basically those who have been for a long time in the power seats of the world, are beginning to find out that all of their concerted efforts are not actually bearing fruit in the way that they presumed it would. And that the consciousness that has been growing beneath the surface of what they have controlled is now starting to strengthen enough to surface and to create other experiences that for them will be beyond their control. Woohoo! Don't you love that? There's our card, right? It is that we are holding this space, and without even having to lift a finger, it's starting to crumble under their feet. And you guys, we have been doing this for 2.5 years now. And I've been saying, I'm crazy enough to think that what we're doing together collectively is helping to create this shift. And it takes each and every one of us doing it. But look, and what they're saying, and I've seen this in some of the headlines. Old Klaus Schwab over there, who wants to run the world, is finding out that his plan is meeting unexpected resistance. So this is what it said, and this is one of the takeaways. If you try to predict, you will be surprised, because you cannot. If anyone makes a prediction, they will be surprised. It's a living in the moment, in the experience, in the current, dwelling deeper and deeper in your own living consciousness within the larger living consciousness, and actually becoming a part of the new dimensional experience. And there we are. Exactly. There's our card. Boom. All right. So then it goes back and it says, those who have had control of the planet's consciousness for a very long time are doing their best to create the fear and the pain and the resistance. And they have no compassion on those who are the pawns of the scheme to keep this shift of consciousness and frequency from happening. In other words, they'll do whatever they can to get it. But here's our game plan. Withdraw all attention from those places and people they are empathizing with because of the continued use of fear and visuals of others' suffering and pain, which distract their consciousness away from this core essential knowing. So the second thing here is, 1, don't predict. 2, pull your consciousness back away from these things. Don't focus on it. It's a shift that's happening. All we need to do is do what we've been doing. Hold on to where we are. It's as if consciousness itself is under fire, purposefully under fire. So just a mirage, so that the distraction will keep people's attention away from what are actually attempts to stop or interfere with the shift of consciousness and realignment of life and presence with love. So my takeaways were, our job is to support this shift through love, empathy, compassion, and detachment. Pretty much a summary. And then this was the final little bit here. This is for those who have the strength within their core and their hearts to stand true and to withdraw all attention, all focus, stand in love, be love. Stand in the heart of the earth. Magnify love. This beautiful. Stand in the core of your being and feel what authentic living light and living love is, without the overlays that you grew up with that patterned your hearts to think that empathy was love. Pure love. I just thought that was so good. So thanks, Lynn, for sending that and for allowing all of us to be able to share in that. And yeah, I mean, the comments that you guys are putting in is exactly the thing. Hold the light, stay in love and light. And that's exactly the message. Yeah, it was so pointed to come now. And then when we get this 4 of Wands card, and it basically tells us to celebrate and dance and to be in the wonderful bliss of the connectedness with our community. So, it's like, here's the deal. Here's what's just so cool. I mean, we've been doing this for over 2 years, and we get together to combine our energies. We can feel it. We can feel it's making a difference. And we send that out into the world. And you guys keep coming back. It's like, yes, I sure appreciate that. And as we send this out, we know that we're holding to exactly what we've just heard and read and seen in these cards. And it's like, we don't have to do anything else. This is a consciousness effort. And we are making a difference. We are absolutely making a difference. So we just keep doing what we're doing. And I think a lot of this is just a confirmation that, wow, whatever started this over 2 years ago, it was a conversation between me and Lynn is what started it. Love, light, and high timeline living. Yep, that's the podcast that we did with Caroline last week. Exactly. Good to see you, Caroline. Thanks for being here. But this is yeah. See, that's the thing is like, I want to dance that dance between not being unaware, because this is not to say just to put our head in the sand and to ignore. I don't think that's healthy at all. I think we need to some degree, know what's going on, but but there's that point where enough is enough. We just keep in touch enough, and then it's like, okay, here's where I am. Here's what I'm doing. And what this also shows to me that's so encouraging is, how many times we've built into the meditation some kind of a protective bubble? And I think we'll do that tonight, that we are being protected consciously because we are choosing to stand on the highest ground. And this whole thing of, A-team player, and you guys are the A-team players, or you wouldn't be on here. And you're coming back time after time. And some of you are telling your friends, and other people are joining in. And it's like, okay, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. And all we're doing is holding space. And it is so easy. It's effortless. And we love doing it. It's so powerful. So it's like, thank you for being here. And thank you for doing this. And yeah, Jennifer, I'm happy to do it. I mean, it's such a privilege. And I really do appreciate also Kristen and Alyssa coming in to help on these third weekends, because it does give me a little bit of a break. But man, everything that we've got going on around here, just as a community, it seems like we're, that's why I say is, let's be moving quickly enough, and we're sharp and alert enough to seize the opportunities that synchronistically come our way. But we pause just enough, and we slow down just enough to ask that very important question: am I on my highest timeline? We get a green light there, then we can move on forward. That's just great. Love it. False evidence that appears real. Let's see here what Amelia has to say. Needed to hear this. I read a book about overcoming spiritual abuse last weekend, and then came down with a case of shingles. Wow, I'm sorry, because I was feeling of being disempowered and fears of whistleblowing. Boy, that's significant. This is why I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you for being vulnerable, because that's kind of hanging it out there. So thank you. And let's say a prayer for Amelia here. And as we get into our meditation, we'll do that. Some of you remember, some of you make a note here to please just surround Amelia with your love and prayers, because this is exactly why I wanted to put that material up. It's exactly why. Is because we are all going to go through. It's not going to be this linear, everything is great and we're going to be okay and da 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 da. There may be stuff coming. What I'm hearing from Ray and that piece of it is an awareness that I think all of us need to be aware of. And when that audiobook comes out, I'd love for you guys to pick it up. It's not going to be expensive. I don't know the exact price they're setting it, and it's going to be delivered on their website, not through Audible. So it's a direct purchase, and you'll be viewing it on their website. But man, I hope that that you guys will, because it really, whether you're into astrology or not, you don't really have to be. It's not that deep and thick in astrology. But he tells you, if you think about as above, so below, he tells you what the reflection is. And that can kind of give you an anticipation. If it pans out, we're going to go through some stuff. And that's going to cause, exactly as Amelia was saying, that's going to cause some consternation at various levels and various trigger points for each of us. And that's okay. What we have to do is we have to support each other as a community, so that when we each individually get triggered, that we're able to help hold the others up. I feel I'll get triggered. You'll get triggered. Your family will get triggered. Your coworkers will get triggered. It's, we don't know what's out there, and we're not going to predict. I love that it came first. No predicting. But whatever happens from this shift, that we are going to collectively support each other to stand our ground, know our position, and to be leaders when the new order, the new consciousness, the new awareness comes. There's something, I think Fred talked about this. I know he and I have talked about it relative to the books, but I think this came from him. And then I think some of you have put it in Facebook and some of the other things too, is that with all of this, there's this, like, spiritual people know that a lot of the material that has moved us to where we are now. So if you think of all the great books that have contributed to society's, to high consciousness living today, think of all of the great books over the last, 100 years. Go all the way back to Think and Grow Rich, As a Man Thinketh, all the classics, all the current books, Fred's books, all of it is going to have to be rewritten. It's like it is. And it's going to be up to us who are going to be on the A team of the new shift, who are just making ourselves available. That's all we're doing here, is just making ourselves available. And we're going to be in the group that's going to help rewrite. And Melissa, you guys are going to be the ones re-educating in positive ways. So that's what I'm holding to. And, like, I love still the medium of the radio, and have done it in and out here for the last 12 or 15 years. And I just still hold that there will be some version of what I'm doing now as fun astrology that will be on radio stations, because people are going to demand answers, and we're going to be the ones with it if we hold our stuff together. So we have to hold it together so we can help hold it together for others. That's the whole purpose of this. It really is. All right, let me get caught up with some of your comments, and then we're going to go into a meditation. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have got it next week. That's great. Thank you. Okay. So let me get some names down here. So we're going to do Amelia, Wanda, just go back up here real quick. Just a second. Maria. Sarah. Just jotting down some reminders here. All right, got that. And then we've got Amelia. Anybody else want to drop anything in, please do. Because this is where I really feel like we support each other. And I just love the vulnerability, and that's what's so special about being here, is that we create a safe space to say, hey, you know what? I'm struggling. And that's okay. That's okay, because you got a bunch of people that have your back. And when one of us is not, like, I was struggling last Sunday, and you guys tolerated it, and you came back. Oh, yes. Brenda, the Ray Merriman Forecast 2024, we'll talk about it on the Fun Astrology podcast. I'll probably put it on Subconscious Mind Mastery as a pre-announcement, and it will be, I think, November 15th that it will be available. But we'll be letting you know, and I'm hoping that we do a interview with Ray. Yeah, one of those. Oh boy. Good. We've got a little Reiki going on here. Excellent. Awesome. Good. Hey, Nancy, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Oh, are you guys doing the 19th? Okay, just let me know. Let me know. Anything is fine. Here we go. Here's the new delivery. This is AI plus plus. Exactly. We're going to hologram this thing. I love it. Oh, goodness. Um, yeah, Caroline was getting ready to move. Okay, so let's put Caroline down. Guys, take notes because I'd love for you to send energy in these directions when we come into this time. Yeah, good. Please just keep dropping these in. You know, this is the part where we do stand with each other and we keep ourselves focused on that high timeline where we live in reality and we work with the energy. Thank you, guys. Thanks for putting these in. I love that, you know, this is life. This is us standing for each other. Brenda, if you have more information that you'd want to drop in about the struggle, I'd be happy to take a swing at it. Those of you on Facebook will know who this is. And sorry to hear this. So sorry. So sorry. Saturn landed on my head this weekend, spending time with my family. Boy, families can be the trigger. And boy, we've got the holidays coming up too, don't we? All right. Grace, thank you. Thanks, Pam. We love you for sure. Thanks for your contributions. I'm just sitting with this comment from Brenda. And obviously, their marriage and their relationship with each other as they each process this. See, that was the ultimate message from that post was sending love. All right. So we know that. We've been saying that for all this time, right? That's been the message of what we're doing. Thank you, Beth. Big hugs to you. And Beth was struggling last week. We talked about it on the podcast. She was the one that sent in that question about the moon. You know, I need to get some thoughts together around this. That maybe we'll do a podcast on this, or we'll talk about it next week. That when especially in relationships, if you're with somebody else and you're on two different levels of processing, that can really be a challenge. I totally get it. So let me have some time with it because nothing's just right there right now. So let's get into our meditation and do what we do best on Sunday nights. And good, Tom. And this is a cool thing too, is that those of you who are standing strong right now can hold the space for those who are challenged. This was an old landmark technique. Um, the idea of holding space. I know you guys are familiar with that, but they used to have live meetings. I've heard that they don't anymore, which is really too bad. But um, in the live meeting, you could work on after you had gone through the first course of the landmark program. You could go back and you could work helping put on future events. And that's where you really learned the material, not sitting there listening to it. You learned it by doing it because they kind of created an environment where you had to. And one of the things that you would do is they'd say, hold space for the room. So there would be the leader up there delivering the material, the teacher, if you will. And in Dallas, there were, usually 100, 150 people in the audience. And you literally could stand in the back of the room or on the side of the room, and you just stand there and might have your hands out or down or however. And you just would focus on the person delivering the material. And then you could focus on people in the room and just let your eyes move around the room. And all you're doing is sending the intention that that person delivers the message in the way that they can hear and understand. And that's holding space. And it's incredibly powerful. And when I've gone to Fred's seminars these last couple of years, and I'm videotaping and audio recording, and there's a lot going on around that. But then in between, when all of that's settled down and he's just delivering a section and I don't have much to do, I'll just stand there and hold space for him. That the room receives what he has to say, that he has clarity and intuition to know what to say, that the message of higher timeline living is communicated. So we can do that here. And those of us who are feeling better and stronger can hold space. And that's an awesome contribution. Oh, that's an awesome thing to do. I don't know what Fred's outlook is on relationships. Okay. Good. Hope it's soon. It'll be it'll be the right time. It will be the right time. All right, let's go into our meditation. This is going to be great. Asman, thank you for this photo. Always appreciate it. Such a visual. Such a great visual, especially if it's cold where you are. You can feel the warmth, even though they have jackets on. But still, that sun, is shining on their bodies and it is warming them up. So, first of all, just energetically, let's come to the same place. Let's think of a beach. I love this picture because, with the grass in the foreground, you can even feel like you've walked down the little trail from the parking area and you've walked through that little grass that's right there before you get to the sand. And probably there are some stairs over here to the left or the right. And there's a bunch of sandals and shoes that have been kicked off to the side. And there we are, sitting in the sand on the beach. Wow. So, first of all, just distinguish, am I one who needs to receive, or am I one who can hold the space? And kind of shift yourself into that role. Be a grateful recipient. If you need to receive the love from others and the support, you need a shoulder to lean on, just be in that space. If you're feeling strong like Tom is and others that I've seen in here, and you're like, no, I can hold the room, I could hold it by myself right now, then be one who does that for others. Be a stand for others. Be one who uses your strength to communicate the love and be a channel for those who need it. That's community. That's our card, the Four of Wands. But now let's all collectively focus on the one thing that came up over and over in those paragraphs. Little 4-letter word. You know what it is. It's love. Let's focus on love. Probably all of you or most of you have listened to the Ram Dass, Krishna Das song that I've talked about so many times, I Am Loving Awareness. The aging Ram Dass, after his stroke with his quivering voice, is precious. I'm so glad they recorded it. I am loving awareness. If you haven't ever listened to that, it's awesome. It's just called I Am Loving Awareness. It's on it's YouTube and all the other Apple Music, Spotify, all those others. It's about 10 minutes long. It's great to just loop it because he says, I love everything I am aware of. So feel love, be love. Even if things like have been mentioned here, Heather lost her son this week. Chris is having challenges from cancer treatment. My friend Cheryl is still very challenged. Now, my good friend Chet and Christina was recently diagnosed with an aggressive form of uterine cancer. Sarah's friend Maria. Amelia with shingles, very painful. The struggles that we've heard. Caroline's got a bump in her move. Brenda Jean. Somebody from Facebook was mentioning waiting on test results. It's okay to hurt. It's okay for a tear to well up, especially if you've lost a loved one, especially if it's a child. And what's best is to give the gift of love to each other, to ourselves. We know what's going on around the world. We know enough. We can give love there too. And realize that even though we are going through significant challenges, that others on our planet are as well. And we know that somehow, somewhere in there is a purpose for each of us. There's a purpose collectively, us as a group. There's also a purpose for you. That purpose is probably going to be magnified and amplified in the future. Like the card said. And you know, it's okay to dance. It's okay, even in the midst of it, to feel the positive, the joy of just being on the planet, the joy of this journey, the joy of contributing to others, the joy of experiencing the positive sides of life, the challenges of life. We have no idea right now what's in front of us. Don't predict. Good advice. Really good advice. Just be present in the moment now. Not trying to have all the answers. Not trying to know it all based on stuff that is crumbling. That was the idea of don't predict. The don't predict was because whatever you'd be basing your prediction on is falling. That makes total sense. So for those in our group who are needing our support, our love tonight, let's give it to them. And those around the world who are hunkered in bunkers and buildings and they're just trying to live their lives the way we are. Their souls with kids and grandparents and spouses and parents, and they're concerned about them. Those are the folks we'll send our love to. You know, we've never done this before, but let's include these world leaders who are making these decisions. Let's just send them love. Whether you like them politically or not, doesn't matter. They're human beings. Well, some are. Let's send them all love. And realizing that what they are trying to uphold through beating war drums and everything else is crumbling. So maybe one of the things we could include, if you're so inclined, is the wisdom to know when to step aside. When old, crumbling structures need to be cleared, those who are trying to keep them propped up Wouldn't it be great if they would just fold into the new consciousness willingly? Now there's a thought. There's a prayer. So loving them for who they are and the position that they're in, and holding that they will release the old as the new is trying to come forward. Wouldn't that make it come in faster? Less resistance? If you feel that, send that up. So picturing us on the beach together, doing our own work, supporting each other, sending it out to the world. Let's now put a protective bubble around our little circle. In fact, in your mind, let's stand up. Let's move together toward the middle. Let's join. We've done shoulders. Let's lock arms this time. Everybody locking arms with somebody next to you. Hopefully you are thinking of a name of somebody who has you've seen and who has stood out to you tonight that you'd like to support. Lock your left arm with that person in your energetic imagination. Now another, somebody whose name or image you've seen, or their request. Maybe it came up as unidentified, but it was somebody's request that they had. You want to stand with them, lock arms with them energetically with your right arm. And now let's, in our mind, just pull ourselves back a couple of steps if necessary so that there's a little bit of tension on those locked arms. In other words, it's a tight connection. No air gaps. Because our bond is tight. Now, can you picture angels in your mind? Look up in the sky and see angels coming down with a canopy of white, floating it down from way up high. You know where it's headed. It's headed right for us because we're calling it down. And picture this group of super angels bringing that canopy right down into the sand and right down around us so that it's meeting the sand right behind our feet. And that bubble is erected around us like a geodesic dome. It stands on its own, but the angels are standing all around it, facing out. And a few are hovering above it, facing out. And the archangels are standing right on top of it. 4 of them back to back in all directions, covering north, south, east, and west. Wow. We are protected. And there we are inside the bubble, still locked in arm, still sending love through that connection, still sending the support, still standing strong in our purpose. And now we amplify that love to each other, as that is our purpose. And then we lift that love right up through the middle of our circle, right up through that protective shield. It can go out, it just can't come in. And we send that love up and up and up and out to the world. And we say to the world, I love you. We say to those who are fighting and warring, I love you. We say to those who are scared or who have lost loved ones, I love you. And now we look up to the sky and we see those angels above our heads. And they're looking back down at us. We just wink at each other. We're on our journey, and they're here to support us. May this bubble of protection follow you this week. May the angels that are surrounding us now surround you this week. And may the love that has brought us together and bonded our arms through this connection follow you this week. And we say together, Namaste, and so it is. But while we were doing this, a couple of young beach bums snuck in behind us and they set up a PA system over in the sand. And they have the magical ability to play your favorite beach song at max volume to disturb all the neighbors around. So you think of your favorite beach song, and we're going to dance in the middle of our circle together for a minute. And I mean, really seriously, hear the music and dance. Let your body move. Hear the song. Sing the song if you're by yourself and you can. Maybe it's a song that brings back a favorite beach memory. Maybe it's one you've heard at a tiki bar somewhere and you've actually danced to it on the beach. Just let your body bask in that moment. Dance. Because that's where we need to set our hearts. It's on the music, on the beat, on the dance. You know what? Look behind you at the condos lining the beach. All the residents and guests are on their balconies and they're dancing too, to your song. Nobody's objecting. Turn it up and dance. And I hope that this is the beat and the vibe that you'll take into this week. Whatever's going on, just dance. Whew. I hope you felt that as much as I did. Wow. That was pretty incredible. Gotta say, that was strong. That's what we're going to do this week is we're going to dance. That meditation went significantly longer than I thought, and I'm sorry. It's a little bit past usually we try to wrap within an hour, but wow, that one was worth it. Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here. And I think we're going to have a good week. I really do. All right. Well, I was wondering if we were still on. You know, I'll tell you what, we are just going to follow in every kind of creative way we can our highest ground, our highest timelines. And that's what we're going to do. That's what this will always continue to be about, is exactly that. So thank you, guys. I'm going to tip out because I know that always it takes a while to come down from these Sunday night meditations. And I have got to get to bed because I have got to get up early to finish this audiobook. I've been under a lot of pressure this week, and so I'm going to self-care. And hey, Kelly, good to see you in here. And try to wind it down to get some sleep. Kathleen, I'm glad you made it. Yay. Yes, we're going to continue our dance. Absolutely, we are. And that's going to be our focus. And if anything stands in the way of that, just take a pass. But remember, we've got that big bubble protecting us all week. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the podcasts. I'll see you back next week. And I'll see you in between in the Facebook group. Have a wonderful week. Let's dance.